Have you ever felt like you're putting in all the effort, checking off all the boxes, but you're still barely in control of your own potential? What if everything you've been taught about modern self-help is actually making you weaker? Welcome to Mind Nova Hub, where we explore the future of technology, AI, personal growth, and the ideas shaping tomorrow. Today, we're diving into an explainer of a radically uncompromising framework from our source material. We're completely shattering the soft, gentle approach to self-help. Look, we aren't talking about cute morning routines or gently nudging yourself toward better habits today. No way. We're exploring a psychological shift so intense, the source actually describes it as a sacred, ruthless violence against your own weakness. If you're tired of feeling stuck, this explainer is going to completely change how you view focus, execution, and raw, unfiltered power.
So let me ask you a real question. Are you actually truly disciplined, or are you just a tired robot? It's a harsh reality check, I know. Our source argues that you might think you're disciplined just because you wake up on time, make your bed, and tick boxes off your daily planner. But honestly, you might just be going through the motions. You've got these routines that you think are positive, but they're actually draining your true power drop by drop. You're just surviving. You aren't conquering.
Okay, let's dive into this contrast because it's absolutely crucial. Modern society constantly sells us what the source brilliantly calls aesthetic productivity. You know exactly what I mean. The color-coded planners, the overly complex time management apps, all that dopamine-seeking behavior that looks fantastic on social media. But true, ruthless discipline, it isn't about smiling and eating your vegetables while a chill lo-fi beat plays in the background. It is about silence. It's about absolute emotional control. When you truly master yourself, you completely stop trying to be inspiring. Instead, you become a force of nature that actually intimidates ordinary people, mostly because you reflect their own laziness right back at them.
Section 1. The Illusion of Discipline.
To reach that level of absolute mastery, we first have to dismantle the illusion. And the crucial point here is this: you have to stop bleeding power. The source gives this incredibly relatable real-world example. Imagine you're invited to a party, right? But you know you need to stay home and work on a critical project. Instead of just saying, hey, I can't make it, what do most of us do? We send this massive, desperate paragraph full of excuses. Oh, I'm so sorry, my boss gave me extra work, I'm feeling a little under the weather, my car's acting up, I really wish I could be there. Stop. Every single word of justification is you bleeding your power. You are literally begging for their understanding just so you don't feel a momentary ping of guilt. The source urges you to become a ghost. Absolute silence is infinitely more powerful than endless explaining.
Section 2. The 3-second guillotine.
Once you stop seeking validation from the outside world, you have to face the true monster, which is the one hiding in the dark corners of your own mind. Soft psychology treats your emotions like spoiled children. It gently tells you to take a rest if you don't feel like working. But the top 0.1%, they use a concept called dark alchemy. This is the process of taking that heavy, paralyzing feeling of, I just don't want to do this, and using it as the exact fuel for the furnace of your discipline. You do the task specifically because you don't want to. You take a tyrannical, lazy emotion, and you actively, ruthlessly turn it into a tool of absolute execution.
So how do we actually apply this? Let's walk through a practical, everyday weapon the source calls the 3-second guillotine. Step 1. You notice the excuse forming in your head. Step 2. You drop the blade. You literally count 1, 2, 3. And step 3, you execute blindly. Your body has to act like a robotic, loyal soldier before your mind even gets the chance to open its mouth and play devil's advocate.
And here's why you have to be so fast. If you give your mind even 4 seconds, it will completely destroy you with its deceptive logic. It'll say things like, just 5 more minutes, or, I worked really hard yesterday, I deserve a break, or, the weather is bad, I'll just start tomorrow. The source points out a really dark irony here. These are actually ancient evolutionary survival mechanisms. They were designed to help our ancestors conserve energy during a famine. But in the modern world, this survival mechanism is just a noose around your neck, keeping you exactly where you are. The 3-second guillotine is literally the only way to cut it.
Section 3. Becoming the Matrix Bug.
Now, implementing this cold robotic discipline definitely has a bitter side effect. When you level up this aggressively, ordinary people around you are going to feel deeply threatened. They will try to drag you back down. So, let's set up a visceral, real-world scenario. Imagine someone intentionally insults you in a meeting, or maybe a family member says something biting just to push your buttons. They want a reaction. They want to see you turn red, raise your voice, get defensive. So, what do?
The answer?
You do absolutely nothing. You just stare in complete dead silence. Look, emotional predictability is a massive weakness. When someone insults you and you don't frown, you don't smile, and you just stare at them with a face like a concrete wall, you disarm them completely. You literally become a bug in their matrix. Their manipulative code simply doesn't work on you anymore, and trust me, that terrifies them.
Section 4. The Power of Hidden Wounds. Mastering your anger in public is really only half the battle. There is a much deeper, far more insidious weakness that ruins potentially powerful people, and we need to confront it right now. We live in an era that is absolutely addicted to pity. Just look around. People are constantly posting sad stories, oversharing their struggles on the internet, seeking comforting hugs, and treating victimhood like it's the latest social trend. The source delivers a very dark, uncomfortable truth here. When you expose your soft underbelly to the world, your enemies are secretly celebrating your bleeding. Begging for sympathy is essentially rewarding the exact people who want to see you fail.
So the rule to counter this is extremely strict. In private, in the dark of your own room, sure, you can bleed, you can bandage your wounds alone. But in public, you wear an iron mask. You execute flawlessly as an impenetrable monster. When a crisis hits and everyone expects you to just break down, but you show up with a face of stone and do your work perfectly, you deny people the chance to pity you. That right there is the highest possible display of unyielding power.
Because when you operate with this God-tier standard, your time becomes incredibly expensive. You must, to quote the source directly, guard your time like a dragon sleeping on a hoard of gold. You've got to stop being an always open tap for other people's trivial demands. If someone wants your attention, they need to know it is incredibly difficult to get. Don't reply to that text in 3 seconds. Start saying a firm, unapologetic no to things that simply do not serve your ultimate goals.
Section 5. Burying your past self.
To actually become this impenetrable, independent force, there is one final, incredibly painful psychological shift you have to make. You have to move from the valley of sheep to the cold mountain peak. Think about it. The valley is warm, right? The herd huddles together, sharing comforting lies, but they live in absolute captivity, basically just waiting for the slaughter. The peak, on the other hand, is freezing. It's totally isolated, but it offers absolute freedom. To get there, you literally have to kill your weak, validation-seeking past self. You will lose friends who only wanted you around for idle gossip. You might even lose partners who can't handle your new, rigid boundaries. It's going to burn to the bone, but it is absolutely necessary.
Ultimately, this explainer isn't about giving you a warm, motivational hug. It is a final call to join the 0.1% of conquerors. It's for that tiny fraction of people who refuse to complain about the dark and instead pick up the sword of discipline, consciously choosing the cold, isolated reality over comfortable, easy illusions.
So I want to leave you with this final provocative question. Will you return to the warm, pathetic herd and hug your excuses, or will you awaken your most ruthless self today? The choice is entirely yours. Now, if you want to keep this uncompromising framework front and center in your mind, you can actually download the complete mind map for this strategy using the Telegram link in our source's description. Go grab it and start building your dark empire today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time on Mind Nova Hub.